before I, actually went to UVA, I had no clue that they even had a band. And the first time that I realized they had a band was actually when I, signed up, put my name on the information sheet. So I think I remember everything about my first day of band camp. Everything was so new and so incredible. I just remember being overwhelmed and excited at the idea that we were having band camp at a hotel. So that was new, especially coming from my school where we didn't actually have a really good band, and so band camp was really just miserable for everyone. So, but no offense, Woodside High School, I love you so much. Yeah. I think I remember my favorite parts of the day were when I first came up. You see the balloons and everybody claps for you. Being a lonely little first year, it is nice to know that you're feeling welcome. So that's the first memory of the day. And then I remember after going through the line and signing up and all that good stuff, I had to go get my instrument. And I remember going into, I think it was the Jefferson room, I think is where the saxophones and everyone had their sectionals, and that's where we picked our instruments up, and Tasky was in there. And so that was like my first personality experience of the CMB. He was just so animated and so awesome, and everyone that came through, all the veterans, he always had a memory and a story, and was really excited to talk to them. And so that was kind of reassuring. And so after that, I sent my parents away, and I was like, I got this, y'all can go. And as soon as they left, it was right before lunch, and I just remember thinking to myself, I have no friends, why did I send my parents away? And so I ended up going to lunch, and I think we had lasagna that day. It's so weird that I remember all this stuff. But yeah, so I ate at a table with Hillary Blyer, who was also a first year, and coincidentally, my roommate in the hotel, which we found out later. Then there was also Sam Gardner, who played trombone, and Adam Williamson, I believe, who also played trombone. So it was a very interesting lunch, but it was a nice little intro to the day. And then in sectionals, we did the name game, which is, the saxophone tradition, where you say an adjective that starts with the first letter of your name and then your name. So I was spirited Shantira, I remember that. And that was when I first kind of realized that I'd made the right decision, because everybody in the section was so awesome. Knowledgeable Kirby, yeah. Yeah, I remember a lot of things about that. And then the first time I heard the CMB play, I was just so blown away. We were at the Cage, because we didn't have the band building then, and I just remember we were playing through stand tunes, and the first stand tune I think we played was 2001's Space Odyssey, and I just remember hearing the low brass for the first time, and I was just blown away. And then we played Rocky and the trumpets, and I was just like, I'm used to coming from this high school marching band where we maybe have 2 good trumpets, 7 total, and here you come to the CMB and we're pushing 40 trumpets, and they all sound incredible. It was just like so amazing. And I don't know if it was because it was the first time I'd heard them, or if the acoustics in the Cage were just really ridiculous and the sound was bouncing off the wall and back to me, but I just remember everything was incredible. And then after that, we had like this little obstacle course. I don't know, it was really weird. In U-Haul, there was like a bouncy, I don't know, moonwalk thing. There was Pong with water. So yeah, I learned I was good at Pong that day. And I met my CMB big, who was Kay Leeming, and she, showed me the ropes the rest of the week. And yeah, so that was my first day, and I remember every detail like it was yesterday, and it was just so incredible. Another one would be when the last night of band camp, my first year, which was the last time that it was officially okay to have a party at the DoubleTree. And so that was my first college party experience, and it was just ridiculous. I mean, there was face paint by the Baritones, and there was a game room, so there was like Pong and Kings, and There was, what else? There was just like multi-floors of just parties everywhere because we had taken over the hotel, or so we thought, but then Dave Knight came around and was like, we're not the only ones here. But I think one of my favorite memories from that night was the security guard at the DoubleTree. She was, you know, obviously supposed to be policing and doing her job, but she was hanging out with us and even brought us a fan when we got hot. She brought us a fan to one of our rooms, and I just remember thinking, this is awesome. Is every day like this in college? Yes, please, sign me up. So that was a fun memory. 7 positions for the trombone, and that was skit night my first year, and that was just like my first real introduction to college, because it was the trombone section, which trombones, I don't think I really need to say more, but they were doing the 7 positions of the trombone, which were ultimately just 7 sex positions with, you know, the members of the section. And they had just like the nerdiest guy, Matt Waring, was the like professor who was going through these positions, and I just remember thinking, this is hilarious, this is ridiculous, and I love it. It's awesome. Second year, when the Saxes won, what did we win? I think it was, no, actually, I guess it was my first year when we did the karaoke night, and Kyle, Kevin Chang, and maybe someone else, Tony Robertson. They did God Bless the Broken Road, I think, by Rascal Flatts. So that was the first round. And the second round, Rodney did I Feel Good, and that was just one of the greatest memories ever. You know, putting the robe on him at the end, it was hilarious. And then the next year, the Saxes did Kiss the Girl, and from The Little Mermaid, and it was all a cappella, and it was great. I think there's a video of it somewhere that should resurface for great reasons because it was incredible. That was when Gavin Rohrer was in the section, and he ended up doing AVP, one of the a cappella groups, so we were pretty good that year. The Scavenger Hunt night, when you had the medley of all the dance songs, so the Twist, the Electric Slide, at that time it was the Cha-Cha Slide. I don't think the Wobble definitely was not out yet. But yeah, it was just really fun to go crazy. I think it ended with Soulja Boy, because that was pretty popular back then. Yeah, and so everyone doing it, that was pretty awesome. It was a lot of fun. Celebrity Jeopardy, we spent a lot of sectional time getting that together, and Kirby was so gracious and helpful in getting the PowerPoint perfect for it. So I was at Savoy, and and Matt was Mr. Pease, and Sarah was Mr. Cook, and then Brian Francisca was Alex Trebek. And yeah, it came together perfectly. I hope is there footage of it somewhere? I hope so, because it was just so great. Everyone loved it, and it was just like a last minute idea that just came together in a sectional, and yeah, that was definitely a favorite memory. And then Bryonce, when my 3rd year, yeah. So after he graduated, and he came back to host with Matt Funston to host Skit Night. And so Funston gets up there to get the night started, and he's like, yeah, Brian is really, he's still on his way. He got caught in a lot of traffic coming down from DC, and, I don't know if he'll be able to make it in time. And so obviously everyone's like, oh man, Brian would have been awesome. And then we hear Single Ladies, and here comes Brian in a leotard and a blonde wig, and he does the Single Ladies dance flawlessly. And just like, I know all the first years were just like blown away. I was blown away. I knew he could do the dance. I mean, we tried to learn it together, and he obviously excelled better than me. But I was just so thrown off, and it was just so incredible. What do drum majors do during sectionals at band camp? Let's see. There was a lot of nap time, a lot of napping, a lot of planning for sectionals, a lot of dividing the band numbers up so that the buses are perfect. So there was a lot of thought that went into making sure the numbers were perfect for buses. So tubas and piccolos, it wasn't anything, we had nothing against you, it's just the numbers work the way the numbers work. There was a lot of DoubleTree cookies, So many DoubleTree cookies. A lot of Gatorade that we would just hoard in our room. Yeah, we didn't really do much during band camp, and it was great, really relaxing. Yeah. Something you may not know. It's really easy during band camp to be a drum major.